Let's record. So as I was talking about SSRS and Power BI. So Power BI has a limit of 1 gig data in free version, right? But if you have subscription, I think it's about 10 gig also, 10 gig storage. Yeah. But in all, if you look at the ups and downs, Power BI is more better. Nobody even uses SSRS. Who uses SSRS? So Power BI data model. In this chapter, you learn about data modeling in Power BI using data modeling and navigation, right? So what is data modeling? Basically, data modeling is just you creating a relationship between your tables. So you have a date table and you have sales table and all that. So you are just creating a relationship between tables. That's what data modeling is all about, right? So let's forge ahead. So I've talked about getting data and all that. So yes. So now before I go to creating calculated columns, so let me take us through the interfaces. A lot has happened in Power BI since, as in almost every now and then, there has been improvements and changes, right? So let me walk us through the interface, right? So this is a report. This small pan here is what we call the report page. So this is where you display, this is your canvas, where you have all this is what you call your canvas. I hope I'm recording. So yes, this is your canvas. Now this is what we call the filter pane. P-A-N-E-S, filter pane. So this is where you can filter. This is where you can filter your data, right? This is visualization pane. This is where you can pick your visuals, different types of visuals that we have. You can pick them, right? So there has been additions. Now, before now, there was nothing like this guy. I think it stopped around there before now. No, I think it even stopped around there. So now we now have key influencers visuals. We have the composition tree. We have key and A. Key and A is to help you. No, key and A has existed before now. Key and A is to help you. So let's say you are new or you are not that good with Power BI. So key and A helps you to write tax formulas without having much interference, right? So then we have smart narrative just to give you a bit of insight into your data. Okay, this is what this data means, right? Then you have paginated reports. So paginated report is, okay. Good evening. Hey, good evening. Hi, Faraday. So paginated report is saying you want to make your, from the name, you want to make your report in pages. Now, before now, what you can have is just this one page. But with paginated reports, you can, your paginated report looks like an invoice. Just imagine in an invoice, you have a company name, Ade Gorioba Enterprises as header, right? And then you have maybe dates, and then you have time, and then before you now have a table showing maybe your sales and all that. So that is paginated report. In Power BI, all you just have to do is maybe have an header and all. But with paginated report, you can have something like that: date, invoice to so person, and then like that. It's just like you trying to create an invoice paper with Excel. So that's paginated report. So with the improved version now, you can do this. Then you have ArcGIS. I think this has existed before now. ArcGIS is to show locations, right? You are trying to do location. Most companies, while I was with Ikeja Electric, we use this ArcGIS map, right? With this ArcGIS map, all we use this for was every point on ArcGIS represent a customer. So all Ikeja Electric customers are a point, like something like this guy here, point. So when I click on ArcGIS, when I click on this point, it will bring me the name of the customer, the address, the email, and every of the details of that customer just by clicking a point. So it's different from normal map. Normal map, you just zoom in, okay, this is the area, we are in Shomolu, we are in this. But ArcGIS, you can click on a house, and then it brings you the detail. Okay, this house is number 12. The person living in this house is Ade Gorioyi and all that. So that's ArcGIS for you. Then there is also Power Apps, right? Power App is another solution. So under Power BI, So we have Power Platform. So let me break it down this way. So under just Power BI, Microsoft did something. They categorized all some of the Microsoft solutions that has to do with visualization. They categorize them. So they categorize them under Power Apps. Power Platform. Sorry. Are we please, are we still with me? So they categorize them Power Platform. Under Power Platform, we have Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. So let me list them out so that we can follow. Sorry, Elijah, so I said, so Power BI as, can you see my screen? I hope we can see my screen. So we have Power, Power Apps. All right, we have Power Automate. These are Microsoft solutions, right? And then we have Power BI, and then we have Power. Hello? 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 Yeah, Alpha. Yeah, meeting on my phone. Yeah. So we have, sorry for the break, Power BI, Power, and then we have Power Virtual Agents. Don't forget, there's something also called Power Query. You can see they are just naming almost all their products: Power Query, Power team. You know, don't forget we also have Power Pivots. Don't forget we also have Power team. So these are solutions, but this last three is not part of Power Platforms, right? I'm just using them. They are not part of. So these are the 4 Power Platforms. What do they use this one for? This first one is, now let's take for example, you are a salesperson, right? And every now and then your boss says, update your sales for the day on Excel. Now, when you update your sales for the day on Excel, all right, you have to save it, Abi, and then your team lead, you submit to your team lead back. Now, your team lead, we now have to collate everything, right, and then send it to the data people guy. So your data people guy, your data people will now have to collate everything and then add it to the database. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Or if you are not doing like, if you are using a app now, it's easier. From the app, you connect to what because when you build an app, this is how app connects your database. So every app connects directly to the database. So whenever you are entering anything to your, let's say you are ordering on Jumia, for example, now, immediately you click enter, it's going through to your database. It could be SQL database, it could be MySQL, it could be SQL Server. So it's going directly to your database. That's because they structured all your entry in such a way that those entries will now form into columns. It's just like when you've used if you've used the Google form before, right? If you use Google form before, when all this name, address, immediately you press submit, it will come in an Excel file at the back end. That's how it is. So instead of going to an Excel file, it's going to your database. So Power Apps is just, instead of you having to, as a salesperson, instead of having to type it one by one in an Excel, submit, or going through that process. So Power App is, you can now build an app. I can build an app for my agents now, right? So they will use it to fill their stuffs, and when they fill it, Power BI picks it directly. So that's what, basically on a high level, that's what Power App is used for. It's just a way of building app without using much of code. You know, you want to build an app now, you have to know JavaScript, know React, know Flask, Django, and all that. So But you don't need, with Power App, you don't need to really know how to code. You just need to know how to arrange some stuff and you are done. You've built up app already. So then, of course, part of them is also Power BI. Then Power Virtual Agent. So these are another low code. So all these guys, they are just a way of helping people that do not really have interest in coding, right? So Power Virtual Agent as well is used to do chatbots. If you've seen Facebook chatbots, right? If you've seen all these business chatbots that when you enter their website, you just say, hello, Titi, how can I help you? You type in, it automates stuff. So we call them chat bots, right? So Power Virtual Agent is what you use to do that. So, normally you are supposed to do a machine learning, artificial intelligence stuff, and you write code. But with Power Virtual Agent, you don't need to write a lot of code to achieve that, right? So I'm just digressing so that you understand how this guy relate to Power BI. So Power Apps integrate with Power BI. So immediately you are entering your details on Power App, it comes that Power BI can pick it directly. And that's why you have Power Automate as well to automate your processes, right? So this is what we call the visual pane. This is what we call the filter pane. This is what we call the feed pane. So all your tables will come here. This is where you pick your visuals. And then you will notice, if you've used Power BI before, you notice that these three guys here, this data visual and this guy and this format, it was formerly in this area. They moved it in the latest version. This version is 2022, I think, February. So that's that about this side. And then these are the pages. All right, you can add page, all right, by just clicking the plus sign. All right, you can also right click to see other options. You can duplicate, you can rename, you can hide, and all that, right? And then, so let me take us through this tab, right? So this is the file tab. On the file tab, there are so many things you can do here. You can open a new report. You can open a new report, right? If you click on this new, it will open another Power BI tool, right? Report for you. Then you can open an existing report from here. You can save your report, right? If I want to save this, yes, file, under file, that's under file. You can also import, you can get data, you can export. You can export in Power BI, you can export to PDF. For example, you are presenting in PowerPoint, right? So you want to make a presentation in PowerPoint. Instead of you screen grabbing, right? If you don't have, for example, where I was working before now, they don't have a subscription for Power BI service, right? So what we'll do when we want to create report is to export as PDF, and then so that it can retain that sharpness of your report, and then you present. So very key is this part, options and settings. So options and settings is where you do a lot of settings to your system, right? So we have the global setting, and we have the current and we have the current file setting. So global or local. So let me just say global setting and current file setting. So here you can do a lot of settings, data load setting. All right. So here you can clear cache, right? You can clear cache here. So probably when you have a lot of, we are just dealing with small data now. You can be working with millions of data that runs into gigs, right? And that might really affect the performance of your report. So in that case, you can come here and clear cache, just like the way you clear cache on your Android phones, right? So you can clear cache just to fill up spaces. And then we have also Power Query Editor to display formula bar. Sometimes when you come to Power Query, it does not display formula bar directly and all that. Then you have direct query. All right, direct query. This was what I was saying about direct query. Then you can do R scripting now. I think it's been a while that you can do that as well. Python scripting. Then you have security, right? So for example, okay, so in case you want to work with ArcGIS, you have to come to security and use ArcGIS for Power BI. You have to enable all these guys, right? Then you have privacy, right? Just to keep your privacy. Regional setting to set your region. Updates. Sorry, just 1 minute. So update for update. If you don't check this, you won't get update, right? Then using your data, so you can diagnostic preview features, right? So here you can come and add some other features you want to see. You want to see like a Spark line. You want to see Power BI desktop, infrastructure updates, Azure Map Visuals. You can just play around all these, right? So auto recovery. Auto recovery is when you close your Power BI desktop and you've not saved. So if you check this, right, keep last recovery. So when you even close, when you open back, it will tell you, okay, do you want to recover the last file so that you can have your last file back, right? So the same, almost the same setting that you have here, query reduction to help in your performance and all other stuff like that. So this is just that. So when the need comes, ensure you know what to do. Then about is just to tell you the version. So when you come to about, you come file about. This is where you can see my own version, February 2022. So you can also check your own version. I want to believe we've all installed. Dari, Faraday, Benjamin, do you all have Power BI installed? We are going to use it tonight. Do you
I've
have
not
it?
actually installed mine.
Eh?
I've not installed mine.
I've not installed my own. I've not installed my own. My system is updating.
Your sister is what?
It's updating like this. I'm just using my phone.
Yes, that's why I sent it out since. So guys, we need to be as speed.
Like I wanted to click delete.
So we need to be as speed. So so that's that. So you can see your version here, right? So and the last point here is sign in, but I can't sign in because I don't have an account. And before I can have an account, I told us that you have to have either pro license or premium license, right? For me to be able to sign in. So that's that about file. The next tab is home. Under home, this is where you see your get data, different data sources. This is where you can see Excel workbook, right? Excel workbook is saying the reason why it's putting Excel workbook is most people that connect to Power BI connect through Excel workbook. So it's it's just like the way you create shortcuts for mostly used applications on your front page, right? So that you can access it real time. So that's the same way we have Excel workbook here. This is clipboard where you can copy paste and do all of that stuff. Then you have Power BI data set, SQL Server, enter data. So you can also enter a bit of data here. Talk about database. All right, we'll talk about that at the right time. Then this is where you can connect to. This guy is very important. Key. This is where you connect to Power Query. Right. So when I double click this now, it takes me to Power Query Editor, where I can do my transformation. Right. Then you can refresh your report from here. If you want to pick, instead of, you can either pick. So in 10 minutes, we'll join using the same link. So in 10, for new visuals, instead of picking from here, right, I can also come here to new visual and then drop, you get it now. So you can do that from here as well. Then this is text box. Probably you want to do some explanations, right? You use your text box. All right. So So then we have more visuals, right? So if you need, for example, these are not all the visuals that you can use. There are other more visuals, but if you want to use that, you have to have an account. So I can come to what? Maybe is that there are two ways. You can download more visuals and then you import them to Power BI, right? Custom visual provided by Microsoft and could contain risk. Only import a custom visual if you trust it. So I can import, like if I press on import now, it takes me to the file. Maybe I've imported, maybe I want man visual that I love, I saw online. I can bring it and open it and add it to this visualization page, right? And I can also get it from app source. So from Power BI app source, you can give me more. Then I can create measures here. And if I need quick measures, quick measure is like you want to, like, it works like Q&A, a bit different from Q&A in the sense that if you don't really know DAX and you want to create DAX measures, so you can use quick measures. So sensitivity check, and then when you are done with your report, you can come to publish and publish your report. All right. So the next tab is insert, right? So on the insert tab, is the same thing, new visuals and more visuals. You can see it on the insert tab. So meaning you can see it on home tab or on the insert tab, right? And then you have page, right? So instead of coming here to add new page, you can also come here and say new page, right? Duplicate page, blank page, and all that. So then you have key influencers. So what does key influencer is like a report visual as well. What does that do? It helps us to, let's say you built a report and you want to know, let's say, what are the key influencers for growth in sales, right? Maybe you have like 30% growth in sales, right? You can now check using this key influencer to know, okay, what are the key influencers of my growth in sales? Maybe it's a performance in the East region of Nigeria that is causing that. If you give you 30% of this, the growth in sales is influenced by the East region, is influenced by the sales persons and all that. So you can get insights from your data using key influencers, right? To know the data sets, or let me say the how do I put it now? The data points that contribute to the growth or to the decrease of your performance, of your report performance. Then the conversation tree is also a type of visual. You can get it from here. It's just the same thing, or you get it from here. This is also easier. So this is it. So, for example, this guy is very important. Let's say, for example, you have a data set that has region, let's say city, state, local government, LCDAs, something like that. So this first three here can be your what? Country. Under country, we have 36 states. Under each state, you have local government. Under each local government, you have LCDAs. So the conversion tree helps you really drill down in this area. So like you are doing a root cause analysis, sort of. So root cause analysis from country to state, state to local government, local government to LCDAs, like a root cause analysis truly helps, right? Then smart narrative. I've not really used this feature. It's not supported for the live connections. So I think it's even for connection to multidimensional models. I've not actually used it before. Then paginated reports, I've told us about this. Power Apps, Power Automate, which you can also find from our visualization page. So let me delete these guys so that you can see. So, all right, so visualization page. Then you have text box. Then you can create buttons, right? This guy is very important for us to manipulate our reports. We use that as well so that we see how it works, right? Then we have shapes. You can use shapes and then put action on it. So I can use buttons to navigate between pages. Maybe I'm going to the first page, second page. I want to hide a report and show another one. Those are features you can get from there. All right. So we have image. You can bring in image as well. All right. By convention, sometimes I create my background in PowerPoint and then I import it as PNG. So just to make your report look very nice and beautiful. All right. So that's that about this. Then under modeling tab, you have manage relationship. This is where you do your modeling. You can come here, but most times you just need to come here to manage relationship. You can see that this and what I saw here is the same thing. So and then other modeling, you can see your new table, new parameter. All right. One key feature under modeling is these two guys, manage rows and view as. So what does that mean? Let's say, for example, I hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Good. So manage rows under modeling, you have manage rows and viewers. These two guys are very key in the sense that, for example, let's say Faraday is the MD of the company, right? And Michael is the CTO of that company. Am I recording? Okay, good. Michael is the CTO of that company, right? Let's say Benjamin is the CFO, right? But you know, and the CFO, which is Benjamin now, wants to publish a report that has to do with the finances. That has to show maybe the finance of this manager, which is Faraday, and the finance of the CTO, which is Michael. You get it now, you know, and then maybe now myself I'm the maybe one of the sales rep, for example. You know, in that case now, as the CTO, I can see the salary of, I can see the salary and the finances. I can see the salary and the finances of myself. As the CTO now, Michael can see my own salary and the salary of himself. So I'm trying to ensure that CFO cannot see my salary because these are confidential information, right? We treat that, so you will see. Then CFO as well, Benjamin cannot see the salary of Michael, but Faraday, who is the manager, can see the detail of everybody. Me as a salesperson, I can only see my own detail. So this is like, we call it role level security. That is, you cannot see more than your role. This is very key. This is what is very important in all organizations. It's very effective there because you have to ensure there is a role level security. There is nothing, your data is not just anyhow. You have to place role level security, right? Then here is just language and not schemas. We have less than 1 minute. So you just connect using that same link. Immediately this is off, right? So under view, you have teams. So teams is just to give a look and feel to your report. So I can choose different teams. You can see when I choose these teams. So this will be my background, right? So when I'm using any report, it makes it look nicer, right? So that's that. And then you have mobile layout. So to show you how your report will look like when you are connected on the mobile, right? Then we have grid lines. If you want to add grid lines to your report, snap to grid, lock object, and all that. Let's say you want to lock a visual, you can come here.